Alright, so today we've got Pratap Bose and with us, and Pratap is the man who's behind all the vehicles that you see, the way they look. Well, that's Pratap's responsibility and his team's responsibility. And Pratap, congratulations on the launch of the new Scorpio-N. And how are you feeling right now? What's the vibe?
First of all, I want to re-emphasize it's really the team which has put in incredible hard work. All teams, of course, I'm speaking for design, and I think to be able to raise such an iconic brand to this level, you can imagine. Many companies struggle to raise the iconic brands. To raise it to this level, we have to do everything from scratch, like you saw in the presentation. So even the design, every single part of the car, of this vehicle is absolutely new. And at the same time, to retain that character, that strength, the personality of this sort of vehicle. And I think once the customer starts seeing and driving and feeling and touching this car, they'll really realize the effort that the Mahindra design team put into this.
Brilliant. And now, Pratap, of course, I've known you for a long time. It's been some time that you've been with Mahindra.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the way I understand, a vehicle normally takes around 4 years to develop. So, what was the input from the time that you came on board?
Yeah, I mean, of course, a lot of the car was already defined by the time I came on board. But there were many areas where, especially we speaking about sophistication. This customer of the Scorpio-N is a very different customer from today's Scorpio. So the attention to detail in terms of colors, materials, finish, craftsmanship, that all comes in the last 14 to 18 months.
Right.
This refinement and the way the car comes together, the stitching, the fit, finish, the quality of the material. So we were able to influence a lot of that right through into the production process.
Right.
And those touches, those interventions really lift any car to this special level. And I was very fortunate to be able to come into the company at that time to have those 15 months to be able to influence this.
Right. And Pratap, we've seen a lot of times with designs, we see names, design languages being given names. Do we see something like this here?
Yeah, we will reveal our design strategy a little later. In a few months. But the underlying word, if I may use, in Mahindra products is presence, visual presence.
Right.
So for the Scorpio-N, it was all about muscular presence, real muscles. So everywhere you see, on the wheel arches, especially the shoulders, is really this feeling of a very, trained muscle. It's lean strength. And of course, on the inside, you can see all these rails. This is, of course, a body-on-frame construction. So somewhere, there's those hints of that construction coming through in the car. Wherever you touch, feel, it's robust, it's tough, it's chunky.
Right.
There's nothing delicate. Even the switch pack is quite sort of chunky and strong. So to balance sophistication with this character is always a challenge. But I think the design team have really done a good job to make it happen.
And usually, if you compare this, there is it's very close to the XUV 700 in terms of the price segment. But usually we would see vehicles in the similar price bracket have some subtle design changes. These two are completely poles apart. So what's the strategy there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Poles apart because we see that the customer himself or herself is poles apart. Someone looking for an XUV 700 type of product is not the customer who wants this, Scorpio-N.
Right.
And this is very clear when you study the market. There's monocoque products and there's body-on-frame products. And we felt that in body-on-frame, there's still such a huge, affiliation of the customer to this kind of construction. But what he or she wants in terms of sophistication is changed, and they want that level of sophistication, but sitting on on a body on frame construction. So we've seen this emerging, and it's incredible actually. And Velu said, we want this to carry on for the next couple of decades. This platform and this architecture is totally future protected for that. In terms of electric and electronics, I mean, you see all the features that we've spoken about. There's integrated Alexa, about 3 words, you name it. So in terms of features, there's no compromise. The two products, come closer that way. But in terms of construction, dynamics, character, you're right, they're poles apart.
And very interestingly, you mentioned when you were speaking, you said when Velu gave you that architecture, it was easy for you to put a skin on it. Yeah. Can you just explain that a little bit?
Yeah. Architecture of a car is like the skeleton of the car, right? That's the bones. Now, on that, the design team puts the clothes on, right? So if sometimes when you look at a model or you look at a boxer, you say, wow, what a bone structure they have, because everything is proportionate. And then you put on even a t-shirt, it looks great, but someone with a not so attractive bone structure, maybe like me, it takes a lot of effort in my clothing. So this is that Velu's team gave a bone structure or the architecture, which then the design team could skin in a certain way to create exactly what they wanted. So the pillars and in the right place, the ratio of the hood to the cabin, the ground clearance, the wheel size, then how much the wheel fills the wheel arches. These are all very, very important to create that strength. You'll see many times cars or SUVs sometimes wheels are too small, or they're slightly inside the body, and that makes it look weak. Absolutely. So if we are saying strength, muscle, robust, big daddy, everything in the architecture has to be in the right place. And you saw how complicated it is, because there's lots of implication on suspension, on dynamics, and ride, and dynamics and ride. But yet, they gave us what we really wanted. Everything's in the right place, the skeleton, and then it was a question of creating the skin for it.
And Pratap, one biggest challenge that you can tell us which you faced during the design phase, and your favorite bit. So 2 things.
My favorite bit, without doubt, is how the interior has come out. I mean, people, the first attraction is always the exterior, but they live in the car. Their whole relationship with the car is actually because of what happens in the interior. And I think a lot of care has gone into to create storage, cubby holes, phone charging, cup holders, those small things that make a big difference. And I think the way that's come together in this car, including the touch, feel, materials, I think the interior story is phenomenal. I truly believe that. In terms of a challenge, it's less of a challenge but more of a condition. I think the height of a car sometimes can make it look a little disproportionate, but we were very lucky to have the width to balance that off. So it's always this height width trade-off. So if you have this sort of width, you can carry off this height. So luckily that worked in our favor.
And 20 years back, when the Scorpio journey started, a lot of customers, I mean, the Scorpio has always been popular, but in rural areas, it was very popular. Now with this totally different Scorpio, are customers in those areas demanding increase and uptick in terms of sophisticated design? Are they demanding that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you go to semi-urban, rural, their access to information and what is latest in the world is like all of us who live in a city, right? So they are seeing what is coming out and what's happening in the rest of the world and the rest of the Indian market, and so there's no border, right? This is a porous system. And the other factor, of course, is ambition and this real desire to also prove to themselves and others that they have a status in life. So all of them are very tech savvy. Most have a smartphone. So for them, a touch screen is not alien as a concept. So yeah, we are seeing that, and a lot of farm folk are also very well to do. They in fact do buy some of the D segment competitors of ours, and this is a great offering for people like that.
Brilliant. And of course, just looks very nice. And
Yeah.
in terms of looks, is there something, any element that you really wanted or the design team wanted from the start, but probably you had to turn it around or didn't go the way you wanted it, or there were some design construction challenges?
No, I think one is, of course, the swing of the tailgate. The
Okay.
tailgate doesn't open upwards.
Right.
It's a very, very strong Scorpio trait to have a side opening
Side
tailgate. Now, when you have a side opening tailgate, the structure, the hinging, the closing and opening lines, they become slightly different from a conventional hatch.
Right.
So that's probably one of the areas where we have to work a lot closer with the engineering team to make sure that the tailgate opens sideways and is still, you can't see the hinges. You still get you'll see the door opening line is not just a straight like a refrigerator. It's got a curve. So we worked very, very closely with engineering to resolve that. Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't touched it, but is it like the XUV 700? Is it plastic or?
No, it's a full steel.
It's a full steel.
It's a door actually.
Okay.
It's less a tailgate but more a side opening door.
I think that answers the questions I have for now, Pratap.
Yeah.
But any other bit you would like to tell? Anything unique, anything interesting about your development journey with the Scorpio-N?
I mean, in plastics, usually you get a very shiny, shiny look.
Yeah.
And many in India think that the shinier the better, whereas we sometimes think for quality the sort of gloss levels to control are very important. So controlling gloss level is actually one of those big design challenges, and it comes down to microns actually. So the gloss level on the chrome versus the silver versus the plastic, how do all of those work together? Because you can see it's satin on the door release and on the handle, but there's a slight chrome touch here. So getting those things right without it looking cheap, without it looking overdone. A lot of people accuse India of being a very chrome
Yes.
loving market, but we've used chrome in few places, used them well, and I think that balance has been very, very been a great journey for us.
And your best favorite bit inside the car and your favorite bit outside the car?
I think the favorite bit inside the car has got to be this T structure of the IP instrument panel. I think it's very sophisticated. It's very well integrated. Lots of piano black. So it's a nice tablet-like finish. And then on the exterior, of course, I think the dominance of that grille is, that's what I was saying in the rear view mirror. I think when you see the Scorpio-N, people will move away and give way. And I think the face of the car really creates that impact.
Right.
Having said that, that little touch of the Scorpion tail on the rear 3/4 glass, I think is a very nice touch. Because in city traffic, if you're sitting very closely, sometimes you don't get to see anything but the window of a car,
Right.
and you'll know immediately from that Scorpion tail that you're sitting in a Scorpio-N. So that's a beautiful, beautiful element, and I want to congratulate the design team, for putting that into the design and then of course into production.
Brilliant. As always, Pratap, it was great chatting with you.
Thank you.
It was very insightful, interesting, and I'm sure everyone watching this conversation will also have a lot of information to take away. And congratulations once again for the
Thank
new
you,
Scorpio.
and I'm shaking your hand on behalf of the team.
Absolutely.
So
Great
thank
job
you
done
very
by the
much.
team. Congratulations to each one of them.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.